Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also for the closed circle on Skype. Each one of you is welcomed. We are 2 days before Christmas. The spirit of Christmas should be celebration, should be sharing what we have. Instead, we celebrate Christmas in many other things. What is important that we share what we have. Everyone has something to give. Everyone has something to give. That we have to recognize and realize what we have to give to humanity. We share it. That sharing is the spirit of Christmas. The spirit of Christmas is not embedded in gifts, toys. It is one of the expression. If you share your presence, share your love, share your concern, it is most significant. Inward journey and solitary existence. Along the inward journey, at one point or the other, each seeker needs a solitary existence. It may be short, it may be long. And once you go through this, you will understand the deeper meaning of aloneness, all oneness. It has happened always that a Buddha moves to the mountain, a Jesus moves to the mountain, Mahavir goes into the caves. Why do they move to the mountains, to loneliness? Why do they become solitaries? This has to be understood. It can be done. Otherwise also you need not go there. For Buddha, that was the opportunity for him to go. Move to the forest. Mahavir, it was possible. It is always that just to face their inner mountain, inner cave, immediately and directly a seeker needs to move to a solitary existence. It may be mountain, it may be a cave, it may be a retreat. Not a retreat that we know that there are set of people. It is a solitary existence. If you have decided that every day you will spend certain hours in your own company. The best example of that is Naqshbandi Sheikh Hazrat Ubaidullah Ehrar. He belonged to the kingdom, a small kingdom of Ehrar. His father was a petty king. So he has inherited the kingdom. He had told his master, Hazrat Khwaja Yaqub Charki, that I have no interest in the kingdom now. Seeing he was the only son of his parents, he had a leanness towards the inward journey. So his father said, I can send you to a master of that time, Hazrat Yaqub Charki. He went, he spent time. He said, when I need you, you have to come back. So spending a lot of time in the company of this sheikh, he attained to the inner state of Fana and Baka. And one day a message came that his father had called for, as he had given him a promise that when his father will need him, he will return to the kingdom. So he told the Sheikh, I do not have an interest in kingdom. He said, when you do not have an interest in kingdom in the worldly life, that is where you enter. You will set an example. Set an example. And he goes there. He is the king. So he has to perform the kingly assignments, to dress like a king, to attend the court, to attend the sessions, the meetings, whatsoever it is. Each one of us, if we reflect in our own lives, we have a kingdom to deal with. Maybe you are CEO, maybe you are a professor, maybe you are a businessman. Not businessman, you are in business, you are in profession of teaching, you are in profession of any other discipline. That is your forte. So Ubad was the king. He has to dress up, but that is a certain hours. Every morning he will come to the court, just as you go to your office. I attend my business assignments, somebody attends his teaching assignments, and whatever the existence has provided as a source of living. Maintaining the responsibility now. Whatever existence has provided you, in that you have to allow the inner qualities to manifest. Your innerness to come to the surface. The open heart, the inner values, the understanding, the awakening, not the frustration. So Ubad will go, and after the job is finished, he will retire in a solitary hut, which was his cave. There he is no more king, he is simply a seeker, a sheikh. Of course, when he is living in the palace, certain security and those measures have to be in place. So he will retire in that hut where he will spend rest of his time, and then next morning he goes as a king again to the attendee, the routine work of the kingdom. Each one of you go to attend your office responsibilities, assignments. A particular garb is necessary, a particular demeanor is necessary, a way of dealing with. And amidst all that, there is a constant remembrance, or you can say the hosh dardam. Every moment there is an awareness that I am simply performing an assignment given to me, creating a balance between inner and outer. My inner qualities of openness, the vastness of the heart. Once the heart center is open, then you are operating through that center. There can be no better example of going into maintaining a balance between the inner and the outer life. There is no better example than Ubad. Sufi Brij Mohan Lal, for his livelihood, used to work in police office as head clerk, and thereafter he is the sheikh, the master. He have seekers. When he goes to the office, I had seen him dressed in the attire of the time. He is a police officer. He is head clerk in the police office. He has to dress that way. But not even a single breath is free from the remembrance of the divine. Just as you are doing many things in your day-to-day life, but the heartbeat continues. But is the heartbeat empty, or it is soaked in the name of the divine? Each breath that comes in and that goes out, you remember that life comes in and life goes out. A constant play is happening, and during that time we know not when a breath comes in and does not go out, or goes out and does not come in. I need to remember that which is. That's why we have the kalma every moment. But awareness is the easiest and the best possible manner that the breath is going out and coming in. And once you practice that, like an undercurrent, just as the heartbeat, just as the breath comes in and goes out, the heart continues to beat without any effort on your part. This is spontaneous, this is natural, and it is God-given gift to us. It is an opportunity. Can my each breath be soaked in the name of in the awareness of that which is, that we are part of the existence. We are connected to each other, to the plants, the rivers, the mountains, the sun, the moon, alike. We are connected to each other by a common bond. And what is the common bond? The incoming breath and outgoing breath. The heartbeat. Everyone's heart beats in one way. The breath comes in and goes out in the same way. It may be fast, it may be chaotic, it may be silent, that you do not even feel that there is a movement of the breathing. You have learned the art. Hosh, dardam. Every moment there is. Hosh means awareness. Hosh means remembrance. It is always that just to face the inner mountain, the inner cave, the inner solitary existence, immediately and directly the seeker moves to the mountain. You can choose a place in your house which is only meant for that. Every day for certain hours you can spend your solitary existence there. You may say that I have not a big house, not but room, but every house, no matter how small, how big is, there is a solitary place where you are all alone. No one enters there when you are there. Do you want me to tell you what is that place? That is the most relaxing place. And the name in America is given to that place, that's meditative cave, is rest room. You are all alone. And every day you spend certain amount of time there. If you do not have any solitary place, use the rest room as the solitary place to reflect, to be. This is just for those who complain that there is no space, no place in their house. Yes, there is a place if you seek. There is a cave, there is a mountain, there is a forest where you can go and nobody will enter there, and nobody will disturb you there. Everyone needs that space every day. If you do not get that space in the morning, what happens? Imagine. In society, it is difficult because the whole energy is wasted in day-to-day work and routine and relationships. There is not enough time and energy to encounter our innerness. Your energy is finished in encountering the others. You are so much occupied and come face to face, so much occupied, and to come face to face with oneself requires much unoccupied life. Remember, it is such a tremendous phenomenon to face oneself. So we always avoid. We want to watch TV. If TV is not working, we are on phone. If the phone not working, we are on something else, reading the newspaper. People even read newspaper in the restroom. Restroom is a place for restroom. No phone, nothing. There you do not carry your phone either. No newspaper, no music. What else can be the resting place for you? Remember, it is such a tremendous phenomenon to face oneself. You will need all your energies. It is such an absorbing job. It cannot be done half-heartedly. This is just a jovial example using the restroom. If you do not have, if you have not set a place in your house. Long time there was an article, there was an essay written by R.L. Stevenson on bathrooms. He had given all the imaginary, but it is something very important. In my bathroom, I would like to have a library where immediately in certain books that I would like to listen to, I can. There should be a resting place. When you are going there, I could do this, could do that. So relax there for a few minutes. So the whole essay was written on bathrooms. And one of the important things that I remembered, that a small library there. Because you are all alone there, you would like to read something. You can listen to the music. You can sit down, relax. Not like a bathroom looking like a prison cell. So we can create our own space for solitary existence. It need not move to the mountain or take out once in a year, certain time when you go to the a place, a retreat or somewhere. Every day you can go into retreat. Every day you can go into the retreat where the room is locked. I have heard during the time when the Mughal Emperor Akbar was the emperor on the throne of Delhi, there was a very poor man in rags. Somehow the other king got pleased with him and he was given a job as an ordinary soldier in the army. But because of his honesty, his straightforwardness, and sincerity, he rose to the status of the commander of the army. But one thing strange was about his behavior. Every day at a certain time, he will lock himself into the room, and no matter what he does. When a person who moved from rags to such a high status, people get jealous of him. What was so special about him that he has been made a commander? So they carried the news to the emperor that every day he locks himself up in the room. We do not know what he is conspiring. Maybe he is conspiring to throw you out of the kingdom or what. And kings, the men in the authority, they are most insecure people. So Akbar arranged to have a peephole into his room. When the peephole was made, so at this appointed time, the man locked himself into the room. So Akbar was there, his eyes fixed through the peephole inside the room to see what he is doing. He locked up himself in the room. He went in front of the mirror, washed himself into the mirror. Then he went to a cupboard, take out a small packet which was wrapped in old shattered cloth, maybe 32. He opened that, took out something from there and changed himself into those clothes, rags, went in front of the mirror and stood up in a state of reverence, in a prayerful state, in a meditative space, in a space of gratefulness, and staying in that state for some time. He again changed back his clothes, wrap up the rags into that piece of cloth, put it back, hide it back in the cupboard, change into the garb of the soldier, the army commander. And when this happened, the king darted into his room and inquired, "What is this all about?" He said, "Sir, I am trying to remember the first day I came in your company, Roza Awwal. In Sufi tradition, Sufi way, not tradition, Sufi way, remembrance of Roza Awwal is considered to be one of the sacred meditation. When I came into your company, what I was in rags. I had no shoes in my feet. The belly was empty, no way of living. This was a small mat which I spread wherever I get the space, and that was my bed. This small bowl was my only vessel where to serve the meals, whatever I could get, and the same was being used for drinking whatsoever I get, water or anything. I do not want to forget that. And in your company, my life and everything changed. I moved from rags to riches. It is your company that has made me, gave me this status. So every day I want to remember that. This remembrance will never allow you to swerve from your path. When I came in your company, what was my inner state of the mind? What was my outer state of affairs? And how in that company everything began to change. And this is a transformation. And with the outer, the inner and outer both got transformed. Remembrance of the first day, Rosa Awal, is one of the sacred meditations, sacred prayer. You need not do anything. Just remembrance of the first day when you came in the company of the Master, the awakened one. What you was, what was your inner state, and now how everything has transformed in this period of time. A gratitude for that. A remembrance of that so that you do not forget from where you have come and where you have reached. An expression of gratitude is what you need to do in your solitary existence. Seeker have always moved into solitary existence. I did say that. You can create a space, you can create a time to go into the solitary existence, not once in a year, every day at a certain point. And then it will become your habit that every moment you may be amidst the crowd, but you are all alone by yourself. Whenever they go, wherever they go, is really not important just to face one. What is really important is to make things uncomplicated, because in relationship it becomes complicated. The other brings his or her miseries and mountains. You are already loaded with your own unconsciousness, but by constant remembrance and practice of the solitary existence, you will create a space within wherein the other dissolves. When you find the Master, dissolve into his heart. Allow his space to enter your space. You are already, when you have created a space within, the others can dissolve into that space. Then it is not two diseases meeting one another, not a complicated disease is created out of it, not that everything is entwined. It does not become a riddle. It's not that you are already a riddle, you have solved a riddle that you are. And you will provide the space to your spouse to enter into, just as the Master has provided his inner space for you to move around. And then it will not be two spaces but one. It is not two hands. You remember, two hands are needed to make the noise. Two mountains are needed for a clash. If you are a mountain no more, now you are capable of being related. You have discovered your inner space. Now the other may try to create a clash, but it cannot be created because there is no possibility of creating a sound with one hand. There will be only a very feeble sound of the flick of the fingers, but not that of the clapping. The other will start feeling foolish. And that is the dawn of the dawn for the wisdom. You can help only if you are unburdened yourself. In the presence of the Master, the inner space that he has created provides you the space to move into. And in that presence, you discover your own innerness. And then you can be of great assistance to your spouse, to your children. You can help only if you are unburdened. Certainly you cannot help if you are not unburdened. You can become a husband, a father, a mother, and you will be burdening others with your burdens also. Even small children carry your mountain. They are crushed under you. Give them the freedom. If you have experienced that within, your presence will become a great resting place for them. It has to be so because you never bother to have the clarity about your own being before you begin to relate or enter into a relationship. Once you have discovered that inner space, you can provide that space, the resting space for others. And this is the basic responsibility of every alert being. Before I move in any relation, I must be unburdened. I should not carry a hangover. Only then I can help the other to grow. Otherwise, I will exploit, and the other will exploit me. Otherwise, I will try to dominate the other, and the other will try to dominate me, and it will not be a way to relate with one another. It cannot be love. Instead, it can be a substitute, a subtle politics. To enter into new relation, it is very important that you do not carry the hangover of the past. In most of the cases, we carry the hangover of the past. Whenever someone asks me, it is important to remove the hangover of the past. And once the hangover of the past is over, then you can enter into any space. Otherwise, the marriage, the relation remains a subtle politics of domination. The stronger one dominates the other. Your fatherhood, motherhood, too, is an example of subtle politics. Look at mothers. Just simply watch. And you will feel they are trying to dominate their small children, their suppressed aggressions, and anger is thrown on them, and thus they become the object of catharsis. Children become the object of catharsis, and by, they are already burdened. They will move in life carrying the mountains from the very beginning. You give them scriptures, but you do not give them empty space. And they will never know that life is possible without carrying such loaded head or conditioned unconsciousness. Also, they will never know the freedom that comes with an unburdened being. They will never know that when you are not loaded, you are not burdened, you have wings and you can fly into the sky, into the unknown, with a burden and consciousness, you cannot fly. You cannot move into the unknown. And God is available only when you are unburdened. You can encounter God only when you are unburdened. There is no load on you. When you are unburdened, you can meet. But they will never know. They will knock at the doors of the temple as they do normally, the temples, the mosques, the churches, and as they do normally in their foolish search, but you will never find. But they will never know where the real temple exists. The real temple is freedom. The inner space, there is a freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. That is the only temple that I ask you to seek. The temple that freedom provides, there is nothing more beneficial and a benediction than that. Dying moment to the past and living the present moment as it comes. Unburdening the hangover of the past relation and move into the freedom. Move into the dark, into the unknown, indeed is the door to the divine. Let there be not hangover of the past relationships. And that is the only sickness that we carry, the only disease that we carry. That is the cause of the psychiatric disease. That is the cause of the nervous disease. That is the cause of deep trauma. The hangover of the past. You had last night a heavy drink dose and the hangover is not yet over and you are ready for the next dose. The real temple is freedom. Dying moment to the past and living this moment as it comes. The present. Freedom to move into the dark, into the unknown, indeed is the door that leads to the divine. Is the door that leads to the inner space that has been given to you. The inner space that you are, but you have forgotten that. To enter into that space, you have to find a solitary moment every day as you move through the life's thoroughfare. You have created an inner space. Every day you move into that for certain hours, and if you do not find a solitary space, use your restroom as the solitary space. Spend some time there. And when you spend time there, you can one day create the inner space for you that will allow you to move into. As you search for that inner space, as you create that inner space, let me retire into my inner space until tomorrow when I have to come back to meet you on the eve of the Christmas. So long then to you, to each one of you. Take care.